Good afternoon and welcome to WideTravel.G6 Project Edition. Today we begin my watercolor painting project. Good morning and welcome to WideTravel.G6 Project Edition. Today I'm joining Noah. He's not joining me. He's already out here making a project. His project is an art project, but it's a project to support the art. What are you making today? Can I quick show him?
Yeah.
Noah's making a steel box that will have, what would you even call that?
A grid.
A grid that will have a grid with holes in it, and then he can drop in art markers. He bought a set of very expensive art markers and he wants a rigid box for those. So that's his project. So with our shelter in place situation, the projects are now needing projects to support them. And the same is true in my case. I bought a bunch of art supplies, sort of those always wished I had them, never had a good reason to buy art supplies. Well, knowing I'm going to be sheltering in place for at least a month, meaning sitting around the house for a month, it would seem like a good time to buy some stuff. So we ended up we bought a bunch of tools for the garage, which I'll show you in another video. But I bought some art supplies. So I got some watercolor paints and very special brushes, which I'll show you in a bit. But the paper I bought is 11 by 17, the watercolor paper. So it's bigger than a regular clipboard. I need to take the clip off this clipboard, create a bigger clipboard, and fasten it back on the new clipboard. So that's today's project. So that project is in support of the watercolor project, which is a project in which I intend to watercolor paint my way through the Why Travel When You Can Live There book series. So I'll go from where I grew up, the farm I grew up on, then through Thailand, Hong Kong, Cayman Islands, our trip around the United States. Just in general, it's going to be a life art book. Man, I just need a piece of plywood that's about yay big. But I think this is too flimsy. You think that's too flimsy?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
I don't know. I also need to go figure out how big my paper actually is. Alright, 12 by 18, but I need a little bit extra space, so 18 and a half. 12 by 18 and a half. Okay. In order to avoid some of the dustiness, I'm going to cut this. When I say 12 by 18 and a half. So rather than use a saw, what I've done is used a carpet cutter or a utility knife to just repeatedly gently score the wood. And then the last bit you can just press right through it and it makes a perfectly straight cut without any dust. What I'm using today for the clipboard is the bottom of the drawer from the dresser that we rescued that I used to make the cuckoo clock housing the other day. Also a video you can see on our channel. Yes, I know you're supposed to sand with the grain. However, in this case, I'm trying to imagine that this is my finger finding splinters going every way it's not supposed to. Because, you know, when you're painting, you don't want to worry about the wood grain on your clipboard. This clipboard is adequate. I'm relatively confident. Not going to get any splinters. Feeling good. No splinters at this time. Alright. Now I need to drill out the old clipboard. Man, you gotta love having the right tools for the right jobs. That drill press is brand new. Just got it yesterday. Wanted one for years, but never had a reason to justify the purchase. I'm eyeballing the center on the clip because the clip has a little indentation from the factory where the hinge mechanism is. That allows me to eyeball the center. Have the pop rivet gun, please. I'll be putting this back on with pop rivets. Pop rivets are the neatest things since sliced bread. You can fasten two things together with ease and with such permanence. All right, now, Noah discovered that you can pound these, brilliant discovery, but if you pound the popper rivets flat using the anvil, you can get a very smooth finish. Everything has a story, right? So this hammer was a gift to me from the Queen of America. No, seriously, folks, I purchased this hammer when I lived in Hong Kong. It was the only hammer I could find at a hardware store nearby where I lived. It's actually a masonry hammer, but it's cool and it now has a cool story with it, so I'm gonna use that. And you might say, aren't you using the wrong end of a punch? Yes, I am. Looking for a nice flat end. That's nice. Oh, good finish there. And I thank you, Noah, for the idea of pounding these flat. Never would have thought of it. I'm gonna have to edit that so that the sound follows my missing it. So it's like bing, 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 bing. Maybe it was a little laugh track. All right, bam, voila. That is my 11 by 17, 11 and a half by 17 and a half art clipboard for watercolor painting. Good afternoon and welcome to WhyTravel.G6 Project Edition. Today we begin my watercolor painting project. Why does it begin in the garage, you ask? Because I need a clipboard big enough to paint on. Thus begins the watercolor painting project. I began by purchasing some watercolor brushes. These things are the bee's knees. Kylie introduced these to me. You fill the base of the pen, which is reverse threaded strangely. It's from China, so who knows. You fill the base of the pen with water, and then when you reassemble it, all you have to do is give it a little squeeze and water comes out the bottom. Then you just need dry watercolor paints to use from there. I bought so many I can't even hold on to them. I bought a pack of 18, gave half of them to Kylie, and kept half for myself. Next we have what Toby calls the bento box of watercolor paints, which I think is the coolest thing ever, and I like his little name for it. In here, in each of these sections, there's a little palette to tell you what's in there. Beneath are paints to match the palette. So that you end up with, like Toby said, a bento box of paint colors. I'm very excited. I've never even seen something like this. I went to look for paints similar to what Kylie ordered, which were different. They were a flat box with little square paint modules, which I was gonna get. I love those. And then I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, that's the neatest thing since sliced bread. It includes a little sponge here where you can work your brush, to dry it up or to clean it. Never used this, so I don't know if it's gonna be awesome, but it was super cool to look at and to feel, to hold. That's what I'm gonna do. And rather than get a sketchbook, which they're expensive, I just found a package of 11 by 17, 11 and a half by 17 and a half watercolor paper. Came in a pack of 100 and it was 20 bucks. So this hobby's starting me out here. We're right at about 50 bucks for the brushes, the paints, and 100 sheets of paper. The goal is to use, maybe not every single sheet in here, but the goal is to use this pack of paper in the production of the next project, which is the WhyTravel.G6 watercolor painting project. And the last thing to complement the project, or to complete the project, is the clipboard that I just made in the garage. This is my 11 by 17 inch, actually let's call it a 12 and a half by 19 and a half inch watercolor painting clipboard, which allows me to fasten a piece of paper on there and work to my heart's content.